Welcome back to Eke React. I don't come again with another trending topic in Nigeria. Finally, Nigeria don't happen to people who colonize this country. Tinubu and Asarok members are now on the run. Tinubu will go Lagos go celebrate Christmas before. No be that one in day again, no. Muslim tickets done over the Northerners. Northern leaders no like the way Tinubu they run this country, especially as Tinubu no come from the north, so they are going to do anything in their power to frustrate Tinubu government. Remember when Buhari they rule Nigeria, we no hear anything from the Northerners, but now then they raise their voice every day. Niger Republic don't they give all of them sleepless nights. Many secrets don't they expose day by day. And the terrorism sponsorship in Nigeria, all of them don't they collect. Let me allow you guys to watch this video, but if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. And also, make sure you like the video to recommend it to more people. Don't forget to drop your opinion on the comment section.
And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun live. Brethren, in the temple of truth, thank you so much for joining me again. Remember, after reading the caption of this broadcast, you need to read the description as well. Then like the broadcast, share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, your frenemies, and tell them that Mayegun today in that order. But some people will first like the broadcast before even reading the description of the broadcast, then share the broadcast, and then they will now sit back and read whichever one that works for you. It is Mayegun Live. And I am back to give you another set of updates since the Nigerian junta leader dropped the bombshell of the collusion between Tinubu and Emmanuel Macron of France in sponsoring the terrorists operating between the border of Nigeria and Niger in destabilizing not just Niger Republic, even terrorizing Nigeria. In his viral interview, which he granted in Hausa, he addressed the obvious intelligence report of the advancement and the growth, as well as the sponsor of the terrorists in Nigeria and Niger Republic. Since he dropped that interview, it has been a sleepless night in Asshole Rock. And understandably so, from what we have now discovered, Gianni intentionally granted the interview in Hausa so that he could use one stone to kill two birds. In northern Nigeria, there is no region or there is no people that regrets the Muslim tickets of the APC, Egbekegbe, than the northern Sharia north of Nigeria. There were those who carried it on their heads like gala. They called those who were against the Muslim tickets Kafiris, the unbelievers. They threatened them that there will be war if for any reason Tinubu's Muslim ticket failed. So, a year after the Muslim ticket, the Mumu ticket, and Tinubu started what he called his reform, they have now been those even crying more. Subsidy remover hits them like Thunderbolts, Magun. Then electricity tariff as well, it's there, like Shopana. To make the matter worse, they are now hearing that once they approve the tax reform bill, that they want to finish in here. So to them in northern Nigeria, it is one regret after the other. And this year, when these Sahel countries started chasing away the French, the French neocolonialism in their region, you see, and Nigeria welcomed France with open arms. So they began to feel like Tinubu is the weapon fashioned against them. So they have been treating Tinubu and his appointees, they have been treating them with so much suspicion and hatred, and it keeps growing every day. It's kind of like a mixture of number one, under Buhari, as Buhari was destroying Nigeria, they were making their people believe that they should never speak up, they should never condemn Buhari because he was a Muslim and he's a northerner. So now that they are out of power, it seems, as the southerners are suspecting, it seems that they cannot live outside our power, even though it has never really benefited the ordinary people of northern Nigeria. But it is more than that. You see, most of those things that Buhari diverted to northern Nigeria for 8 years, as much as it didn't really reach the real people in that place, right? It started making a big difference that those things are no longer available for them. So they have every reason to suspect that Tinubu is a weapon fashioned against them. Then on the other hand, Niger Republic is like Nigeria's 37th state. Yes. Throughout the 8 years of Buhari, Niger Republic was receiving money. I mean, there are some northern states like Sokoto State, Kebbi State, Borno State. All these guys always add the budget of Niger Republic to their budget. Not like budget. I mean, like you will see a Sokoto State will be buying a vehicle, security vehicles for the Nigerian police. You will see Borno State building and constructing and equipping medical centers in Niger Republic as part of their budget. Kebbi State will be funding, the government of Niger Republic. All of these are public. Then Buhari was in fact believed to be funding the Niger Republic as his retirement home until they chased away his pal, Bazoum. So since Bazoum was removed, somehow the Hausas, the Fulanis as well, from northern part of Nigeria, they seem to have a bit of a sympathy for their cousins in Niger. And you see, Bazoum was removed under Tinubu. To the point that when Tinubu decided to invade Niger Republic last year, it triggered a huge sentiment from their part. Their Satan of Sokoto, Emir, and all of these guys, their politicians, they were frequenting Niger Republic, trying to mediate. And they were mounting pressure on Tinubu never to do it. But there was this sentiment that what Niger Republic rejected, Tinubu has embraced. So if Niger, their cousins in Niger, says that France is their enemy, there's no point for Nigerian government to embrace France. This has been a means of suspicion between Nigeria, or between northern Nigeria and Tinubu. Meanwhile, Tinubu, on the other hand, has a confidant called Shaguri. He has been enjoying immunity from arrest, prosecution, with the French government. He can't really go many places in the world. He will be arrested. He's a wanted man. But it's a Tinubu's pal. He's Tinubu's confidant. So when Niger Republic chased France away, it wasn't a bigger problem for Tinubu to become the next option. Something that some of the core Sharia North considered as a betrayal. But they couldn't say much. They were holding it in. So that Tinubu even attempted to invade Niger Republic, that one has already breeded a bit of resentment against him. Then coupled with the failed policies of Tinubu, which to them, if Tinubu was a Fulani northerner, they wouldn't mind. But he's a southerner, a munafiki. That's what they call him, a munafiki. So the story of what the French have done to them in Niger Republic, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, is more pronounced in the Sharia North than the rest of Nigeria, in case if you don't know. In fact, as much as a lot of you have access to internet, in northern part of Nigeria, the massive means of communication or information sharing is through the radio. And that is why majority of their political leaders would rather address them in Hausa. So when Tiani overthrew Bazoum in Niger, Nigeria placed economic sanction on Niger Republic to destroy the country. But unfortunately for Tinubu and his gang, that did not really have so much impact on the government, but it did have impact on the country. Economically, Niger became economically isolated. But anyway, they formed another bloc, which is the bloc with Mali and Burkina Faso. But there's still something left. So it is also believed that the French French sentiments, the resentment of the French in Niger, in the Sahel, like all these countries, right, is one good advantage that the juntas in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and in Niger, it is what they always use as the reasons why, number one, they're having problem with insecurity, they're having problem with economic this and that, and the big brother, Nigeria, that should have acted as big brother to support them, protect them, has now sided with France. So therefore, Nigeria, not Nigeria as a whole, they believe that Tinubu as in particular, especially Tinubu, is the enemy of the North through that. And this has been going on for a while. Those who are working with Tinubu, like Ribadombo, like this Idris guy, who is your misinformation minister, Badaru of Jigawa, your defense minister, Papawale of Nasarawa, also your minister, Minister of State for Defense or so, right? And majority of those appointed by Tinubu, they are using what is called eye service in working with Tinubu. But it seems a memo now came after that interview because it was believed that Tiani, the Niger Republic head of junta, had to speak directly to the Hausa community, the biggest community in northern part of the Sharia North, to be precise. He intentionally granted that interview by saying, listen, you are dealing with Lakurawa, you are dealing with all these terrorists. They are the handiwork of France. So it is France that is giving weapons to these terrorists. It is France that is funding them. The intention is to use these terrorists to destabilize Niger, is to use these terrorists to destabilize the economy of these Sahel countries. And it's unfortunate that despite the fact that they have done so much, he has done so much to report to Nigeria and seek Nigeria cooperation, that Nigeria has ignored all of his plea. Now that is an indictment, something that spread like wildfire in northern Nigeria. So since that yesterday, Now, Tinubu is in Lagos. He is not in Abuja now. But immediately that interview dropped, the entire Hausa Rock entered panic mode. Like, oh my God, what's this? Because, again, don't forget that Tinubu's policies are already destroying Nigeria. Another Nigeria who supported the Muslim ticket, they are the most affected as we speak. They are the most, they are the people that have suffered the most in the last 18 months. They are facing the kind of shade that they have never seen before, despite the fact that they survived Boko Haram's 8 years. So they can't hold it in. So Tinubu is already like a personal non grata to them. But you see those who are appointed by Tinubu from northern Nigeria, they are giving him another impression to make him feel like, oh, he's loved. Don't listen to what the oppositions are saying. The people appreciate you. The people are praying for you. We are giving them the food you said we should give them. We are even sharing money to them. Blah, 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 blah. So this interview has not only riled the poor, it has also made those who are their elites so concerned. Like, is Tinubu trying to mortgage their future, their lives for France? Even though they continue to deny that there is no French forces in Nigeria. Now, what makes everyone concerned now is that when the level at which these guys came to deny kind of really makes us believe that it is 100% true. There are evidence abound. So, sorry to those of you who don't understand Hausa, okay? I will play these audios, okay? The first of them is that of Ribadom, who decided to, it is now like a game of propaganda versus propaganda now. I need to make you understand, okay? Because right now, they knew that, they kind of believe that this Nigerian leader intentionally granted the interview in Hausa. And the interview has caused so much anger in northern Nigeria right now. You know what I mean? Like, people are already angry that their gamble for the Muslim ticket don't cut. The ticket don't cut. So right now, they have more reason to hate Tinubu more. And this Ribadom and others now believe that this is an actual job that will wreck Tinubu's chances, create a bit of an unrest in northern part of Nigeria if something is not done right away. So it is a propaganda war. And according to some of them, they believe that Niger is leading right now. So they are not concerned about me and you talking about France. If me and you, if we are concerned from the southern part of Nigeria about France, they don't give a damn about us. That is why they are currently addressing their people in Hausa, telling them that, number one, Ribadu said that Nigeria has never granted any foreign country, a military base in Nigeria history. That when America came, Nigeria rejected them. When Britain came, Britain actually colonized Nigeria. Nigeria rejected the offer of setting up a base. When France came, they rejected. But guess what? This Nigeria Republic, they accepted France. They accepted America. So now that they are having issue with America and France, and then Nigeria is kind of like in business with France. So this is why Niger is trying to blame Nigeria. He's trying to, they are now saying that because this military junta, he has no plan of when he's going to transition to democracy. He has failed the people. All the promises he made when they overthrew the government in Niger, he said he has failed his people. And because he has nothing to show to them, he wanted to use Nigeria and Tinubu's relationship with Macron. He wanted to use that to ginger his country people that the reason why he's been failing is because Tinubu is a friend to France and France want to destroy Niger. So this is them now trying to push back in denial, despite the fact that true, France are having their foothold in Nigeria as we speak, all over the north. And I will show you some of that. But here is Ribadom.
abun ya zo mana muma da tada hankali da mamaki da mai girma shugaban Niger ya faɗa. Ba ta da tushe, ba gaskiya. Najeriya ba za ta taɓa yi wa Niger zagon ƙasa ba. Najeriya ba za ta taɓa yadda wani abu masifa ya faru wa Niger ba. Najeriya ba ta da fitina ko rashin zaman lafiya da makwabta kanmu. Dukkanmu muna zaman lahiya da Cameroon, muna zaman lahiya da Chad, muna zaman lahiya da Benin. Ya za a ce kuma za mu samu problem da Niger ta ina?
Ita jamhuriyar Nijar tana zargin cewa Najeriya yanzu haka tana kokari kuma ta baiwa kasar Faransa sansani domin sojojinta su samu hanyar da za su iya yakar jamhuriyar Nijar.
Wannan ta ina a ce Najeriya ce za ta ba wata ƙasa dama ta zo ta zanna don ta kawo wa Nijar hari ko fitina? Ina zai faru ta ina? Najeriya ba ta da wannan tarihi na yarda da kasashen waje su zo su zanna a kasanta. Ingila da kanta suka yi mana colonialism ba su taba ko so daya su ce wai za su kawo sojojinsu ya zanna a Najeriya. Amerika ba yadda ba ta yi ba mu yadda ba. Sai da muka ce ba mu yadda ba su kafin su ce sun je wajen Niger suka ba su dama, daga bayan Niger din suka zo suka kore su. Faransa ba ma Niger ba, duk kasashen da suka yi wa mulki haka suka dinga yi. Ba mu taba yarda da haka ba. A ce za ta zo ta bude sansani a Najeriya ta zanna ko rana guda, belle ma a ce wai za ta kawo Niger ko wata ƙasa farmaki. Ina zai faru ma? Ba mu taba yi ba. Amma idan yanzu sojojin Niger suna fada da Faransa, ba dole su ma su ce mu yi fada da Faransa ba. Duk kamar yadda ba mu fada da kowane ƙasa a duniya. Najeriya ba da taɓa yi ba, musamman a ce wai har ma za a ce wai a kawo wata yan uwanmu fitina. Shi shugaban Niger har ma ya kira wurare a cikin Najeriya don ya san Najeriya kwarai. Wannan wuraren da ya kira dinnan muna nema ku yan jaridu da kuma mutanen da suke community a wurin din, don Allah ku je ku duba ko akwai wasu baki, kowane irin bako ma, belle ma a ce Faransa. Muna tabbatawa mutanen Niger Najeriya ba za ta taba zama musu matsala ba.
Masana suna ganin cewa wannan abun da ya taso dinnan babbar barazana ce ga harkokin tsaro da suka shafi ta'addanci da kuma garkuwa da mutane a Najeriya da kuma jamhuriyar Niger. Ba ganin wannan abu ne da za a kamata a duba shi?
Ai shi ne muke nema tun da muka shiga nan, muna yaki da 'yan ta'adda, bandits, kidnappers, IPOB, 'yan Niger Delta, ko ta ina muna ciki, kuma Allah Ubangiji na bamu nasara. Muna neman 'yan uwa, kusan muna cikin matsala guda ne. Abinda ya taba Najeriya ya taba su. Ya kamata Niger su fahimta akan cewa Najeriya ba problem bane. Ma 'yan ta'addan nan su ne mutanen da suka matsa mana. Dukkan abin da suke yi a Niger suna yi a Najeriya. Mu haɗa kai mu yaƙi da su. Mutanen Niger su sani akan cewa mutane ɗaya muke, duk abin da ya taba ɗaya ya taba guda. Ba yadda za a yi a ce wai ƙasar Najeriya ita ce za ta taimakawa 'yan ta'adda har ya zo ya kawo mu da kanmu abubuwan da yake matsa mana akan yaushe muka kare da mu ce wai za mu kawo ta ina zai faru. Wannan bai yi ba. Wannan don Allah shugabannin su sake dubawa. Kuma Niger har yanzu ya kamata su sani akan cewa idan sun canja Faransa sun kawo wasu, suna kawo wani problem ne na gaba. Bai kamata ba a bar wasu kasashe kuma su fara su mayawa gurbi na mutanen Faransa. Duk wanda ya zo zai zo maka yanzu a aboki ne, gobe zai zama maka masifa. Ka san akan cewa wannan kamar yadda muka faɗa musu da kafin su yarda Amerika ta zo su bude sansani a wurin, mun ce mu kar ku yi, sun bayar, amma yanzu sun gani. Yanzu ma muna ba da shawara ko rabu da su. Najeriya su ne 'yan uwanku, ku dawo mu yi aiki tare.
Na san akwai yarjejeniyoyi da aka yi tsakanin makotan kasashe kan yaƙi da ta'addanci, kuma Niger ma tana ciki. Ina waɗannan yarjejeniyoyi suna nan ko kuma dai ya suke?
Muna yi yanzu ma kamar Niger, abinda muke a tafkin Chad, wanda joint venture da muke su Niger sun ce sun jawo sun fita. Muka ce su dawo don mu yaƙi da Boko Haram da sauran waɗannan mutane. Idan ba mu haɗa kai ba, wannan abubuwan din zai ƙara kawo mana problem. Babu da niyya akan cewa mu yi nisanci 'yan uwanmu. Dole ne mu yi aiki tare. Idan akwai kasuwanci ba laifi, amma wani ya zo ya amfani da mu don mu ya murguna 'yan uwanmu ba yi ba. Abinda kake gani yanzu ko muna mu'amala da Faransa, ban da maganan kasuwanci da kuma zamantakewa, zaman lafiya da kowa a duniya, ba abinda Najeriya ta sa a gaba fiye da wannan abu.
You don't have to understand everything. Just the key thing he's saying. It is called panic mode. Okay? it's like, we need to counter it. We need to quickly tell people that, you know what, he is lying. Okay, we do not. There's no French forces in Nigeria. We don't have anything here. All of that stuff, yeah. Unfortunately for Ribadol, the announcements made by Tinubu himself, for example, you have French forces now training with the Nigerian army. They are training with the Nigerian Navy. And they are also training with Nigerian Air Force. When Tinubu went to France, right, they sold these 1965 fighter jets, about 40 or 42 of them, like a local old fighter jets. You know, they sold them to Tinubu, and therefore that is what do you call it? A stage set for the French forces to come to Nigeria and teach Nigerian pilots there how to fly the fighter jet. They also signed a deal called Critical Mineral Resources MOU on critical mineral resources, which has now led to Nigeria lifting ban on the mining, lifting ban on mining in Zamfara and some other places. French companies, a stage set for the French forces to come to Nigeria and teach Nigerian pilots there how to fly the fighter jet. They also signed a deal called Critical Mineral Resources MOU on critical mineral resources, which has now led to Nigeria lifting ban on the mining, lifting ban on mining in Zamfara and some other places. French companies that were operating in Niger Republic, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, who have been kicked out of the place. They are going to be in Nigeria. Some of them are already setting up shop in Nigeria. And that didn't come for free. When that Nigerian president said they gave Tinubu substantial amount of money to accept this, he is right. You know what? The next 2 years, France will give Tinubu 300 million euros. This is how they packaged the deal. Tinubu, as your president, will determine where France should put their money the next 2 years, as French companies will now take over some mining locations across northern Nigeria. It's part of the deal. It's called MOU on critical mineral resources like uranium, gold, what have you. That's part of the deal. This is what they will be getting again from Niger. So Ribadom said, since Nigeria history, Nigeria has never allowed any country to come and set up base in Nigeria, which is true. Okay? But they don't really have to set up base. He said, when Nigeria rejected them, Niger accepted them. So if Niger is having problem with France, does that then mean that Nigeria must have problem with France? If France is going to help them to fight Boko Haram, bandits, IPOB, and all of this, that's what he said, oh, so should they reject them? Maybe Nigeria has been in a joint relationship with Chad, this Niger, even Cameroon before. Nigeria is a sovereign country that can have relationship with any country. That this man is failing. The man that said he rejected France is embracing Russia. He's an hypocrite. He should face his own people, because every time the people are asking him to deliver what he promised them, he will begin to look for excuses by blaming France. That if Niger rejects France, must Nigeria reject France? Or he didn't finish there. Remember, he had to address his people in Hausa too. Because now that Hausa land up north, now there the Rogbodion, they happen right now. The likes of Ribadump, Idris, and some of these guys, by the end of 2025, next year, majority of them will likely begin to lift Tinubu's government. I have seen this before. Or they will stay on and just rock the boat from within. Here is what the Idris had to say. Information Minister of Nigeria. That was National Security Advisor of Nigeria. This is an allegation against Nigeria. And he didn't address you. He has no business with all of you. He's addressing their brothers and sisters in northern Nigeria. That's why he spoke in Hausa. This is your misinformation minister speaking on the same matter, not in English, in Hausa as well. Same way.
To na farko dai wannan ma magana ma ba ma gaskiya bane kwata-kwata. Ganin bai dace ba, ya kamata ya daina yin haka din.
Because in that Chiani's interview, he indeed alleged that France is empowering these terrorists in collaboration with Tinubu to destabilize Niger Republic. That is what they have now termed, we have no plan of staging war or going to war with Niger Republic. How many of you remember last year when, not even just last year, this year, when I reiterated that even though Tinubu failed in fulfilling the allegiance of invading Niger Republic, which he later denied, that it is not over. There are other clandestine plans to still invade the country. Even though Tinubu denied, but you see this memo, this is the memo that David Undeyi exposed that prevented Nigeria from going to war with Niger. A member of the team that was saddled with the responsibility of drafting the soldiers to move them to the border of Niger, to Sokoto, precisely. Last year, they took a picture of this memo and sent it to David Undeyi that, see, we are about to invade Niger. Can you do something about it? And David published this. And this is the memo that got Nigeria's DSS, NIA, this Ribadump and his other guys to attempt that, they attempted to kidnap David Undeyi in Ghana last year. Yes, they almost succeeded. They would have, you see what they did to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They would have done the same thing to David. But by a dint of luck, right, he managed not to be at the location they expected him to be, which they went at the time. If not, David Undeyi would either be dead now or he would be in Nigerian prison as a trophy for Ribadump. That memo stopped the war. The whole plan was that the operation will last for just 2 days. And within 4 hours, they are going to arrest this junta in Niger, Nigerian army. They will invade Niger Republic, go straight to Niamey, go straight to the government house and grab these guys. And boom, the memo leaked. Tinubu did not write the National Assembly of trying to invade another country. And this is the foundation of all of this. So when the guy came out and said, their plan this time around is to use Nigeria and this, border terrorists to destabilize Niger Republic and give a reason why, yes, maybe they can still go on and invade. So this guy are now saying that his allegations are baseless. And I've heard some of you who have said that too, that the allegation of that guy is baseless. Some are saying that some of the allegations are baseless. Some of what he said, you do want to agree that they might be true. To you, it's like they should be investigated. Some of the stuff he said should be investigated. But others, there are some other things he said, they are just like baseless. Baseless. You are dealing with Tinubu, you say baseless. Nah. Another thing is that APC, they have destroyed whatever little trust that people could have for their own governments. See, these are criminals who want us to be patriotic. These are dishonest criminals who want us to be patriotic. They want you and I to be on the side of our country. But these guys are not patriotic to Nigeria. Every of their action is anti-Nigeria. Sure you get? These guys have committed treasonable felony against Nigeria. But because they are in power, you understand? So who is going to arrest them? Who is going to probe them? Nobody. But in a sane climb, Tinubu and his gang, they will be arrested for treason for what they have done to Nigeria with no consultation with anybody. With what these guys have done to Nigeria, they will be standing trial for treason. Unfortunately, who is going to do that? So there is no trust. Nobody trusts them. And because of this, which they know themselves, that's why they are saying that this Chiani of Niger is banking on the lack of trust between the leaders of Nigeria and the led, which is true. So they are now trying to widen that mistrust. Number one, National Security Advisor of Nigeria, is defending an allegation. And he is using allegation to defend allegation. So that it can be like, don't mind him. No, don't worry, don't mind him. Meanwhile, we have other obvious evidence that shows that we should mind him. How many of you remember this?
Zai ƙara ci gaba da taimaka mana wajen ciccire abinda masu fashe wannan wanda su ɗan boko suke sa mana hanya yana kashe mana jama'a da sauransu. Dan boko haram ba yan boko ba, yan boko haram. Ai amfanin abin shine zai taimaka mana inda suka sa su za mu je mai amfani da kayayyakin wakili. So abu ne mai muhimmanci su taimaka mana akan yakin nan da ake yanzu. Taimako daidai gwargwado da zai yi suna mana.
See that one? It's confirming that true, we have, the French army, we have the British who are here, we are working together, we are training together to protect northern Nigeria. That video is just like about 2 weeks old, though. It's not like 2 years, 1 year, or what have you, just about two weeks old. Nigerians who were killed in the last 1 year on record, 614,000 Nigerians were slaughtered by terrorists, and it didn't even make it to the media. No? The day I saw that data, I was like, what? How? Under Bukwari, the total recorded the number of people killed, as loud as the media was at the time, they are under 100,000 in 8 years. How could over 600,000 people killed? And we did not even see the uproar anywhere. It's like, oh, you don't understand. They have used so many distractions, so many media propaganda to kill some of the news. Yeah, in the last 1 year. terrorism has become an industry that is so flourishing in Nigeria, that you reporting it will be considered a criminal. On Monday evening, the ISWAP terrorists in Borno, they use drone to deliver bombs in bombing the military base in Borno. According to them, 6 soldiers sustained injuries, but they won't tell us what kind of injury before they finally shut it down, shut the 3 of the drones down. Then on Wednesday, 2 days ago, the same ISWAP terrorists in Yobe State carried out another drone attack. It's not like military drone, just the normal drone that could carry a certain kilogram of, a bomb. And they also bombed the military base there. Again, they used the media to play it down. And the media in Nigeria, they have always been in collusion. They colluded with this terrorist as well as this Nigeria military, which happened to be the uniformed terrorist. Other bodies that are supposed to gather intelligence reports that the military and the rest of them should be acting upon before they act, before they do anything, right? Intelligence gathering, intelligence reports. Now, this same military gathered intelligence reports that saw them, yesterday, 2 days ago rather, that they bombed 2 communities in Sokoto State, where tens of people died as well. But what did the chief of defense staff say about that? He blamed the victims.
There has been a recent incident yesterday in Sokoto where the Nigerian Air Force was said to have launched an attack. And the Sokoto state government has reacted that some victims lost their lives. So what can you say about that?
Well, so if you listen to my speech, I made that clear, that we have individuals that still harbor those people. And then once you do that, you make yourself a legitimate target. And our appeal is please do not allow them hang around you. Do not give them any support in whatever means. Because once you do that, you make yourself a legitimate target. The incident that happened yesterday, we are pleased with. It was an operation we conducted. We followed up and ensure that we avoided mistakes as much as possible. If there were other mistakes that came up, we are going to investigate and see. But I can tell you from what we have seen, because we have the videos, the details of everything that happened, there were criminals in that place. Anybody that played with them was part of them. And so we'll continue to do our operation into North. Like I said again, we want to appeal to media. Please always understand that also those guys want to use the media to send their own message across. And that's why it's dangerous not to just agree to whatever it is they're saying. We have been transparent since we have come on board. Everything that's happened, we look at it and we'll tell you. Anything we don't know, we will find out and get back to you. But I can assure you, we'll continue with the work we're doing. It will not relent. We will avoid civilian casualties as long as even they too avoid staying where the criminals are. Because it makes the job extremely very difficult if we say wherever they are with the criminals, then we should avoid. I think that's one. But we want to appeal to, if you are not with them, please leave their area and come out, so that it gives us the ability to deal with them precisely.
You hear them? Yeah, he blamed the victims. People were bombed in their homes. Civilians were bombed in their own homes. And what did the chief of defense staff have to say? People too must stop mixing with the terrorists. We will continue to do what we are doing. We will continue our work. Yeah? We advise the people that they must terrorists that are ransacking their communities, invading villages and all that. So, I'm sorry. These are the professional soldiers that justified bombing civilians, including women and children, in their village. Not be say these guys were like, these people were in the forest with the terrorists too. They are in their homes, inside their houses, and they dropped bombs on them. And the only thing they could say is that they too should stop mixing up with the terrorists. How? Yeah. Nigeria is a place where do everything you can not to be a victim. Do you understand? Because even your fellow victims, they will blame you. Yeah, the voluntary slaves. It's your fault. Even you. Why did you allow terrorists to come to your village? Is it my business? Is it my duty to ward off terrorists? Or the duty of the security forces to protect us? Next time, when the terrorists come to your village, tell them to leave. Okay? You have to tell them to leave because you don't want trouble. Because, don't be a victim. On the part where they are dropping a bomb via drones, listen to what their spokesperson had to say.
In the incident that happened on the 25th of December, I've already explained that operation will have taken place earlier. But because of the painstaking measures that we know that we need to put in, we decided to hold it to make sure that those that were seen at that location were indeed terrorists, Laprawa terrorist group. And we did that by sending human intelligence to confirm. And they got back to us and confirmed that yes. And it was thereafter that we carried out a joint operation, a combined synchronized operation with the Air Force and ground forces. Air Force carried out precision strikes using precision munitions. After the strikes, the military, the land component on the ground moved on the site. And what did they confirm? They confirmed that yes, the strikes hit the objective. That is that. I've said so much on that. Now, I spoke about secondary explosions because one of the targets was a logistic base of the terrorists in the community. When I talk of logistic base, I'm talking of armed cartridges and poles that were kept there. So naturally, when the munition hits that, there will be secondary explosion arising from that, which will generate, other things flying in the air, which was what led to the death of about 10 persons that were reported. The 10 persons reported were not hit directly by the airstrikes. The people that were hit directly by the airstrikes were the Lapara terrorist group, and they were burnt beyond recognition. Now, to the report about the usage of drones. I don't think that there's